can you see this person's perspective, but can you see beyond this barrier that is in front of you right now? And we do get to that place of gratitude and actually appreciation. Now, it takes us refusing to stay in a victim mindset in order to do that.
Here we are. How are you, Teri Pugh?
I am full to the brim. How are you?
You know what? I've just been so glad to get a little sunshine. I've been trying to get a little bit of organic vitamin D because it has been scarce. It has been scarce, and it's affecting everything and everybody. I've had a few issues at the farm. I had some stray dogs come in, and it's been rough. They got in my goat pen, and I have a little goat that's really, really hurt. And so it's been a lot. It's been a lot going on. And some people say it's, Mercury's been in retrograde and all this other stuff. And I go, I don't know about that, but it's been crazy.
I don't think we can blame it on Mercury in retrograde this time.
Okay. Well, where are you at? Tell me what's going on with you?
I'm just, girl, no, I'm not even going to go there tonight because we don't talk that kind of stuff. So I'll just say I am just, I'm just navigating life.
You know what? That's what everybody seems to be doing. There's Elizabeth. There's Elizabeth. She has joined in. Let's see. Hello, lovely ladies. Well, hello, lovely EB and Michelle Henry watching on the YouTube. And it sounds like we all having a week. Yes, we all having a week. Well, tonight I really wanted to talk about motivation because as I was talking to someone, they said it seems like it's been hard after even the holidays and then bad weather, and it's been hard to get back into the swing of getting into work and getting into what we're doing. And I wondered if you had anything that you could impart life coach wise. How do you motivate yourself when it's hard to get motivated?
Well, I mean, I think there's all kinds of top shelf stuff we can talk about, go out and walk, get your feet in the grass, yada, 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 yoga, all that stuff. There's all kinds of things like that. But the reality is, it's just about putting one foot in front of the other. And I think, not to get off topic, but I think that collectively we as a nation have been struggling for some time. And I think that's what's got a lot of people just in all sorts of kind of ways. So I don't think it's so much about motivation as it is just not knowing what the hell to do, what to say, how to move forward in life. I think there's a lot. I've had a lot of clients new now that are just like, yeah, like life is just different, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, we got hit with 2020 and life has been different for everybody after that. And it doesn't look like there's any signs of it easing up. Now, in our own personal corners, we can, make it as pretty as we want to make it. But, you have to, talking about motivation, it's about doing, having a goal of something you want to do, and then looking at what are the obstacles that are in your way. What is the bullshit narrative you're telling yourself about you can't do it or you shouldn't do it? Check in and get a good reading on your self-esteem and get a good reading on what your priorities are and shift accordingly. If it's something that you want to do, you want to be motivated, then you have to expend energy in order to build energy. Mm-hmm. So, that.
I like that. Today I saw something. I always get, I always say garbage in, garbage out. I try to really stick with positive things. It's, as much as I possibly can just right now. And I saw this really interesting study today that a group of scientists were studying the power of words. And they put a row of water bottles on one side of the room, and everybody came in and they told the water bottles how much they hated them. They told the water bottles ugly things about themselves. They said, you're never going to amount to much. It was just this barrage just to water bottles. Then they went to the next room and they talked to the other water bottles, and it was inspiring things and hopeful things and things like that. And then they looked at each sample of water under a microscope, and the bottles who had the words imparted that were hateful, it was chaotic. Everything. Hey, Nancy, just joined us. The water had a chaotic cell makeup. And the ones that were talked to in a sweet way, they were crystal. They turned into these little water crystals. The cells turned into these water crystals of beauty. And I just thought it was interesting. The whole point was the power of the words we impart, especially to ourselves.
Yeah, I think the scientist that did that, and I could be wrong, but I think his name is Dr. Moyoto. And he's done it with snowflakes. He's done it with water. He's done it with plants. He's done it with all kinds of things. I did it out at Riverbend. Same thing, plants. And it happens because it's all just cellular. It's cellular. Everything has a cellular energy to it. And we do the same thing. So when we walk around saying, oh, I just can't do that right now. I'm just so busy. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. Well, you create a narrative, which is a false narrative in your mind that you're so busy, but you're getting something out of being busy. Like there's something you're getting out of that. And it's, maybe it's, I need people to know how busy I am, or I need people to look at me and revere the fact that I'm a hard worker, or whatever it is. There are weeks and there are pockets that, people are busy, but we're not busy 24/7, 365. We create that for ourselves.
Yeah.
I say we're not motivated, but we are. It's just, we have to be careful not to swoop into the toxic positivity, because that's a real thing.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that. And by the way, there's my sweet Janie. I haven't seen you or heard from you, my little sister from Northern New York, a place where if I complain about the weather, I just have to talk to Janie and she'll go, back up, Buttercup. Let's talk about toxic positivity, what that is and how it affects people.
Well, I typically side to the side of positive. I just, at the base of my makeup, it's a positive makeup. But toxic positivity is when there are definite problems, there are issues, and people are like, oh, it'll be okay. We're fine. Everything's fine. Everything's good. We're good. You did so great. And it's like, sometimes you just have to be real. You have to say, yeah, this sucks. Yeah, you actually didn't do a great job. I didn't do a great job. I could have done better. We have gotten into this thing where everybody, and that's counterintuitive to when people say, well, speak positivity into the world and positivity, comes back to you. Well, okay, yes, but also there's a detriment to trying to blow sunshine up people's butts when it's just apparent that there's not a lot of sunshine. So toxic positivity, like I was working with someone the other day, and they were saying, they were in chatting with someone, and they were like, yeah, everything's everything's fine, we're fine, it's all fine, it's all fine.
Look,
right, exactly. That or throat punch them, whatever, but and so that, and it creeps out into even when people are grieving, well, they're in a better place, well, God has a plan, well, everything happens for a reason. That is toxic positivity, because it's like, it's not doing good. It's discrediting someone's real and true, authentic feelings and emotions. If someone is going through something and they're having a hard time of it, telling them everything's going to work out, look on the bright side. And it's like, well, for that person, there actually might not be a bright side in that moment. So maybe the more healthier thing to do is to say, is there anything I can do to support you? Could you use a hug? Or would you like me just to leave? Because I can go too. Like, respecting other people rather than other people's discomfort making you uncomfortable. So then you have to put a positive spin on it, because it's not always, not everything is always positive or needs a positive rebuttal to it. Sometimes people just need to be able to say, this stinks. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel positive right now.
Is there such a thing as toxic negativity?
Yeah. Look at the world. I mean, seriously, look at when people are like, oh, nothing good ever happens for me. Oh, life is so hard. Oh my God, did you hear what so-and-so said about so-and-so? That is all toxic. I mean, it is negative, but it is negative personified, negativity personified. So it creates drama, and it creates this icky feeling of, it's intoxicating to people who come from more of a negative vibration. It's very intoxicating to them.
And Nancy says, like Debbie Downer, and Elizabeth says it definitely ain't always positive. Sometimes it really sucks.
It does. And it's okay to say, you know what, this sucks. You know what, I'm not good right now. And if you're not okay today, it's okay that you're not okay. You don't have to go out and make it look like you're doing great. If you're worried about something, if you're fearful of something, if you're sad about something, you know, if you got things going on that are heavy on your heart, it's absolutely okay to not be okay.
Right. Elizabeth says we probably all know those folks who live in a constant pity party. Yes. Yeah, we do. And that's different than this is bad and I'm acknowledging that it's bad. It's a place where I find fault with everything around me. And I've had those people in my life that, you know, no matter what it was, and I always call it a critical spirit. You know, somebody gives you something, go, well, it wasn't all that good, and go, yeah, but it was a sweet thing. It was a free sandwich. It was a nice meal. It was a free trip. And I didn't have, you know, and I have a couple of people in my life that no matter what it is, there's always something wrong with all of the things. I mean, there's something wrong with everything. Now it's mostly good, but this is bad. So it's not that good.
I think that distancing yourself from those people is important. I can honestly say I have one person in my sphere that's like that. And I distance myself from them. Not because I think I'm better, but because I just don't think that it's all bad all the time. And I don't think it's all good all the time. But I think that when you encounter someone who can't ever say anything positive about anything, or they say, you know, I mean, I know people that I don't ask them how you doing? I don't ask them that. Are you kidding me? No way. No way. You know why? Yeah. Because I'll get this. Well, I mean, my legs hurt, my head hurt, my back hurt, my hips hurt, lost my job, got this, I got money in the bank, dog pooped in the floor. I mean, there's always something. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't care. I don't care. If their ladle is always dipping from the negative pool, I don't want it. I don't want it.
Janie said, you know, yes, the people, it's always something. Elizabeth says there was zero positive I could tell my niece about what she recently experienced. Only good I could find was, I'm grateful that you are physically unharmed. Otherwise, our conversation was, that sucks, rotten apples. Yes. I mean,
yeah, things happen in life that are not always positive. And there's not a, you know, we can say, you know, I hate it when people say, well, look on the bright side, you know, because in certain instances, you know, the positive is that, like Elizabeth said, someone's not hurt, you know, or someone's physically okay, or, you know, that is sometimes that is the positive, and it doesn't have to be sprinkled with, you know, all kinds of glitter on top of it to make it wow factor. It's just a simple fact.
Well, I always say that if you have a program, now is the time to work it, because there's some stuff in life. You know, I was talking to someone very close to me, and it was a tough day, and I wasn't trying to fix anything, but that's how she was perceiving it. And she started raising her voice, and it got higher and higher, and it got angrier and angrier. And finally she said, "It's not at you." And I said, "I know. I'm working my program. I know it's not at me. Keep it going. Come on, let me have it." And she let all of that venom that was spewing inside of her out. And about 3 hours later, we talked again. I said, "Okay, how do you feel now?" And she says, "I think I really needed to let that out."
And as long as someone is letting it out and not directing it, there's a difference in just like, I need to vent, and then they just regurgitate stuff versus, you know, you did this wrong and you did that wrong, and they take it out on someone else. When they projectile it and they take it out on someone else, that's not okay.
It's not okay. And at the same time, what I have learned, and when I'm really healthy in my space, I know it's not about me. And I don't take that barb inside my spirit. I just let it go on by because it's somebody I love very much. And I let it go. And later and it's someone who's got so much pressure on them, they can't carry it right now. And I know that they don't have a safe place to let it out. And it was interesting when I did not take that in to me. It was none of it was really, really directed at me. It's, even you don't understand and you've never been through this and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I let it literally go over my head and off. And I just took it as a wall of listening. And then I watched everything change. I watched it kind of melt away. The thing is, and I think it's important to realize, is that we don't have to take in those things of someone who we love that needs to vent and needs to let go of whatever they're carrying around. I think, and I was kind of proud of myself, to honesty, Teri. I think I used some of my Teri tools in that, because I've always taken everything personally. And all of the sweet things that I learned from our wonderful 4 agreements about not taking things personally. I mean, man, when you take that book, and if you guys don't have that book, you can go back and look at some of our previous shows. And we did a book study on the 4 agreements. If you really put that stuff into power, into work, it really does help. And whether it's positive or negative coming at you, sometimes people just need a safe place. And we have to learn how to be the safe person without taking it into our spirit,
Well, exactly. You have to learn to be the safe person without taking it in your spirit, but also you have to learn not to take when people are directly being disrespectful. You don't have to take that either.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Positivity. I love Brian. Brian, his whole life has changed. I've watched him take his health into consideration and change his whole life and the way he does things. And he is just such a picture. Talk about motivation. Brian says positivity is a force that fuels us in many ways we often don't even realize. It's in the smallest moments: a kind word, a warm smile, or even just the sun shining on a rough day. We all face silent battles, and sometimes that one spark of positivity is what keeps us moving forward. Not everyone carries that light, and there will always be negativity trying to dim our spirit. But we have the power to choose what we focus on. Letting go of the people or moments that drain us is necessary. I like that. This is it. This is it. Nancy, when I learned that I didn't have to do this, that's when I found freedom. I always want to be a fixer. Nancy, I feel that. And that's one of the things I literally, when I was going to Teri, I learned that I don't have to fix every damn thing in the whole world. That was powerful.
Well, it's not yours to fix, right? It's other people's, it's their lessons. Doesn't mean you can't support people, you can't nurture, you can't be there for people, but also there's a difference in holding space for people to be there to support someone as they may need that. But there's a whole different thing in letting someone have autonomy to figure out what they need and then go about the business of asking for support when they need it. Most of the time, fixers rush in to fix it before the other person ever they've already got the dinner cooked before the other person pulls the pan out. and it's like, how will they ever learn? And I don't mean learn in the sense of like as a life lesson, you got to learn it. But I mean, how will they ever experience that they actually have the substance, the tenacity, the power, the grace, the grit, the love inside their self if no one ever lets them? If we steal their opportunity for growth, then they never grow.
That's true. That's true.
And that serves the fixer.
Yeah. Elizabeth says, I can't fix it. I am also not responsible for it. That doesn't mean I can be there. It just means I won't own it. That's good. Oh, there's Dawn. My mom used to say, be helpful but mindful, that it's their little red wagon. Let them pull it. Man, that'd be good on a t-shirt, Dawn. That's nice. Elizabeth says, I can only fix and be responsible for myself. And that's true. Someone very wise was telling me, if you're trying to fix your bad day by fixing someone else's, you can't do that. You can't change someone else, and you can't fix someone. So the only thing we can change and the only thing we can fix is ourselves and what's going on with us. And sometimes when it comes to motivating yourself out of a hole, I mean, and this is just me, and people can say, go for a walk and all that other crap. I mean, none of that ever works for me. I literally just have to find my own bootstraps and figure out how to motivate myself. And I have to take joy, and I have to recognize when I've made a baby step that moves in the right direction. If you're out there trying to get motivated to do something, to get out of your bed, to get healthier, to do whatever, just to move through the day, give yourself some credit for each baby step and realize that it's okay to you're not winning a foot race. Some people you don't jump out of bed and it's like all of a sudden, wah, here we go. That may not happen that way. Nancy talks about being a fixer. I think mine was having 2 teenage daughters at once. Moms like to fix. Moms do like to fix. Brian says, Fred Rogers once told us, when I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that. Look for the helpers, because that's true too. Even in as messed up as our world is right now, there's so much good going on. There's so much happening in different parts of the world. I love the stories. There's this one TikTok that I look at, and this girl she goes, I share one positive news story every day. And I know that might be toxic positivity. I don't think it is. I think it was just something that it helps my day. When she comes up in my feed, I always smile. It's always someone who does something, and I go, well, gosh, that didn't cost money. It didn't even take a lot of time, but this person is changing their little world. And I'm always looking for ways. I go, I'm 63 now. What's my legacy? What am I going to do? I have less days in front of me than I do behind me. I mean, it's a crazy place to be when you look at that. And I go, what is my legacy going to be like? What is the memory? What am I leaving behind? And I think a lot about that. And so that's where the motivation question came today. It's like, okay. Because I'm an isolator.
Well, and with that, on the heels of trying to find the positive, you also have to be aware that there's such a thing as compassion fatigue. And it's, I think, everyone going back 4 years has struggled with that. I mean, and not because we're not compassionate people, but because there's just such a need for it.
What is compassion fatigue?
It's when you are exhausted for caring for everybody else.
Okay.
Like I have noticed the shift in people when, like if you paid attention to like the holidays this year, There was not a whole. Now, for some people, maybe there still was, but as a national kind of thing, there wasn't this huge. I don't know how to. The spark was a little more exhausted, if that makes sense. Like I talked to a lot of clients that told me this year that the holidays felt more like an obligation and a chore than they did actually enjoying them.
Ah,
And that's because I think there's just this onset of, we have to take care of our family, we take care of our kids, we take care of our dogs, we take care of everything, people at work, we take care of, everything.
mhm.
And there's very little room left for people to sometimes take care of themselves,
Right. Janie says, I like to say good morning daily on Facebook as just a good way to start my day. I like that. I think that's cool. Danny Looper says, I heard a minister say once, a rut is nothing more than a grave with both ends kicked out. Wow. That's huge. Often agreed, it can feel like you're lifeless when you're stuck in a rut. Very draining. Danny, I'm going to tell you something. I get that. I mean, I feel like I've been in like a 5-year rut. And it's just like I woke up like Rip Van Winkle and said, how do I get out of this? And so that's what I bring that. And I don't know if anybody else has ever felt that way. And you just feel a little bit stuck. And it's just how to motivate yourself out of that stuckness. And I can't wait for the world to change for that to happen, because I'm wasting my life if I let that happen. And I think that a lot of people, it's like you said, I mean, whether it's the holidays or anything, life is exhausting sometimes. And I think we've been carrying that way. Janie says, yes, it's a challenge. It is. It is a challenge.
But here's the thing. If you're in a rut, literally a rut, mentally, emotionally, or physically, even financially, you can be in that rut, and you can also plant some positive things around you so that something blooms that's not so draining. Doesn't mean you'll be there forever, but there's a reason that we experience, heavy moments. And it's not to test us. It's just to, we can work through anything if we're willing to look at all the, expand our peripheral vision and look at different opportunities that can self-motivate. It's challenging to be motivated when you're around people who aren't motivated. It's challenging to be motivated when you're around people who find the negative in everything. And that's why I tell people often, you might want to check your circle of friends. You might want to check the family members. You might want to check your own self in the mirror. Like, really take accountability for who you are inviting into your life and the energy that you are using in your life, because it is your life,
I think this is the sweetest thing. Nancy, people who don't know Aunt Nancy and her husband are Mr. and Mrs. Claus every Christmas. And Nancy and John have been through a lot, and most people never go what they've been through. And they are the sweetest. I went to her house during Christmas and the season, and we're right after. And I'm telling you something, just I don't know that I've been in a family where there was so much love in this house. And I was a stranger in this house. I mean, I know you, Nancy, and I know John, but I just, across the board, I just thought, this is so sweet. And it was just people, all ages, shapes, colors, sizes, everything. It was just this montage of people. And the overall thing that I took was, wow, there's so much love in this house. And I really wanted to, I wanted to soak in it. And I think that's what I kind of started doing. I literally, as we start looking, there's been so much down, and I've been mainlining comedy. I have been listening to comedy every chance I get. And I follow some comedy services. I just said, I just want to laugh. And that is the thing that that's helping me get out of the rut. Elizabeth says, big time. It may sound hokey, but my program gave me the tools to look around my life and make the changes I need to make at any given time. I love that. Danny says, focus on the expectation in something hoped for. A diversion to the mundane can be refreshing. Danny, what you speaking so much wisdom tonight? I just love that. Elizabeth says, I agree. I love the feeling I get at your home, Nancy. Well, I don't know if you guys have found some magic motivators and some things that help you with your rut. What are you doing these days? Because always coming out of the gray season, it's a tough time for a lot of us. I mean, mine was simple. I started using full spectrum light bulbs. It helped me. I just, because I don't know where I know that in upstate New York, where Janie is, it gets dark for a great bunch of time. And in Tennessee, it gets dark. It's the gray season and it's cold and it's just like, I'm always breaking ice and trying to keep everybody fed and warm, and it's 13 degrees. It's just hard. So what do you guys do to get yourself out of the gray season? What do you do to motivate yourself? And Teri, do you have something magic that you do?
I feed the ducks.
I love that.
It doesn't motivate me, but it brings me peace.
Uh-huh.
And I think finding peace is one of the first waves or layers of being able to start to shift.
I love that. I love that. There was a really cool person, again, because I do all my doctrine and nutrition, everything off TikTok. And there's this young woman who's a therapist, and she said, we focus on finding peace when maybe we should focus on it being within us. Mm-hmm. And I went, that was one of those aha moments. I saved the video so I could watch it over and over again. It's like, oh, I keep looking for external things to bring me peace. And sometimes I have to go, oh, maybe it was just in me that I need to settle something in my own spirit to find that peace. And that's been very helpful as well.
Well, it's never outside of us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even when, there might be tools and things that navigate you from the outside, that navigate you and direct you to your inner light, your inner highest and best, your inner spirit. But it's always inside. It always has been. The thing is, we go through life, and life can be challenging, and it can be difficult at times, and it can be heartbreaking at times, and it can be scary at times, and it can be all of those things, but it's also still very beautiful.
Mm-hmm. True that.
It's also still very beautiful. And that comes from inside. There's nothing, that's why there's so many people struggling in a relationship, and there's people struggling, because they're looking for something outside of themselves rather than just being and knowing that they are enough just as they are. Flawed in all, they are enough just as they are. If there's something you want to change or shift about yourself, change it, shift it. Yeah. But that light is inside you. It came here when you came, and we mar it up and, layer it up with mud and life experiences and all kinds of stuff. It never leaves. It just gets weighed down. And when we get still and we get quiet, we can hear it, we can feel it, and it allows us to move forward. And that's where people get motivation from.
Yeah, I love it. Janie says, I gave up coffee December 10th. I drink herbal nowadays, taking time for rest and in bed at 10. I'll work in the spring, 3 feet of snow right now. That's right. And she's been getting up early. That's sometimes you change your going to bed and rising time. Sometimes getting in a routine. That's one of the first things a friend of mine, when he was going through his recovery program, he developed a routine for himself, and that really helped get him out of his rut. There's my cousin Tim Free, sent you both a bunch of hearts. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
We're going to bring things to a close tonight, and keep the conversation going in the comments. You guys are really busy tonight with your comments. The things that you do to motivate out of a rut. And my new funny guy is Ali Sadiq. If you don't know him, He is the funniest man. He is coming to Nashville in the spring. I don't know if I'll be able to get tickets or even afford them, but I can sure watch him on YouTube, and he's hysterical. Ali Sadiq, and take a look at him. Anyway, well, Teri, you have a good night. It's always good to see your face.
Thank you. Same. Good to see yours also.
You want to take us home?
Sure will. As always, we appreciate each of you sharing your time and your energy with us. It means the world to us, and we do appreciate it. I know we were a little late tonight. I got the times mixed up, but we're here. And until we see you next time, find the things that motivate you. Get in touch with your inner peace. It's not a foreign thing to you. It's in there. And while you're in touch with it, go ahead and increase it.
Increase your peace, baby.
That's right.
Peace out.